Hey, so how's everyone doing? Now, what I'm going to show you today is Eye the Tiger. I figured it'd be a good one with the McGregor fight coming up this Saturday. For Eye the Tiger, you're going to need to use a thing called power chords. Now, as I said before, with the Throwback Thursday videos, it's about the songs and the riffs and the ideas themselves. Anything extra technique-wise, I may slip it into some videos, but power chords themselves are a whole topic to learn on their own. So if you haven't done power chords, I'd recommend you check out YouTube and brush up on those and then come back to this lesson. All right, so if you have done power chords or if you feel like jumping in the deep end, let's continue. Right, so to begin, you're only going to have one shape to do with this song and with the riff, and you're going to put your index finger on the 8th fret of the E string, and you're going to see it in the tab alongside this, and you're going to put your pinky on the 10th fret of the A string. Sorry, I think I said index finger on the 8th fret of the E string. Now, looking down at it, if you've never played power chords, or even if you usually do, part of you might be going, can I use my third finger, my ring finger? And you can, but there are advantages and disadvantages. I just prefer to use my pinky on it. So you begin with that, and as the name suggests, it is quite a powerful sound, right? So we start off with that sound. Now, that's your first chord. Then you're going to slide it down to the 6th fret with the exact same shape for your second hit. And then back up. Right, so the first bit of advice I have there to do with sliding power chords is I treat it like a capo. And what I mean by that is, if you're removing a capo from the 8th fret to the 6th, you wouldn't leave it wedged on and drag it all the way down. There's too much tension and that will slow down the movement. Same way with your power chords. So when you've hit the first one, when you're going to move to the next one, release the fingers. Just relax the grip. Okay, and then slide down, then press again. And then you're back up. All right, so that'll be the first movement, and then the next thing is we're going to go all the way down from the 8th fret all the way down to the 3rd fret, and again relax, and then you press again for the 4th fret. Okay, and as I'm naming these, I'm simply just naming what fret my index is placed on, because if you keep the pinky relative to the index, it's going to move the whole shape for you. All right, so that'll take a bit of work. And the sort of punchy rhythm of not knowing what's coming really adds the sort of boxing vibe to Eye the Tiger. But to do that, we need to know exactly where the hits go. It can be very tempting to go, do you know, and it will sound relatively like it. But to really look in detail, we're going to divide down the beats and we're going to look at them in greater detail. All right, so from previous videos, we may have done countings such as, we all know the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. We all know 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But if we want to go a level deeper, we're going to count 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and The reason we do that is so that we have more options on where we place our rhythm, where we're going to actually hit the chord. And this count really only takes place when you have a need for it. So for example, there's a part of the song that goes like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... There was no real need for me to be counting all those out as I went along, since I had no hits on them. It just was one big ring. So I would go back to counting 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the count will go as follows. It's going to go 1, 2, 3E and a 4E and a. Now do that again. It goes 3E and a 4E and a. Okay, so that'll be one thing to practice along with it. And then the next thing, it happens again. So it goes 3E and a 4E and a. All right, so all together we get 1, 2, 3E and a 4E and a 1, 2, 3E and a 4E and a 1, 2. Now the final bit goes 3E and and a, 4E and a. Okay, so that bit will go 3E and a, 4E and a. It's going to sound pretty weird slowed down, but sped up will go. Okay, so it does sound like it once you've practiced it and build it back up. Now, that's the first line. So we'll take a closer look at that again. Okay, so the count goes 1, 2, 3E and a, 4E and a. All right, now the next part, we'll do that again. The final line goes 3E and a, 4E and a, and you let that ring out for the next bar. This is where using a metronome can come in really handy, because you need something when you're starting out with this stuff to keep a count going that's rock solid. As I always say, metronomes don't make mistakes, they're robots basically. So they'll keep going the whole time to keep your beat. So you'll know if you're hitting it on the E's and the A's and the beats and off beats. So on my laptop here, and you can Google online metronome, and it's the top one in Google that I'm using. So for the purpose of this, usually metronomes are set on the main beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. But since we're going levels deeper now, going 1E and a, 2E and a, to give us every bit of a chance we can have, I've set the metronome in a way that it's going to beep out, it's going to click out every single thing I would count anyways. So it goes 1E and a, 2. That way in my brain is going, every time I hear it click, it's a part of the beat. So I'll know where to land my hits exactly. When you're setting the metronome, it'll be tempting to set it up to the pace of the original, but for the purpose of making sure we get this count, I've it set slower. So I've mine set at 185 BPM. And there's a fine line between it being set slow enough for you to be comfortable with it and slow enough for it to sound like the song. So for the purpose of the video, I would set it at a relative speed that you'll still hear it sounds like the song. But if you're finding it tricky at 185, by all means slow it right on down. So every single click you're going to hear is going to be the 1E and a. As you can hear, it sounds very pleasant. So it goes 1E and a, 2E and a. So it goes as follows. It goes 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. And the last part of that then goes, so go 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So that's the first line. Now, the next thing about it is, a lot of people think, and from what I hear a lot of the time, when somebody learns the main riff of Eye the Tiger, they'll go and do the exact same thing a second time. But if you listen to the recording, there's a slight alternation on the rhythm on the second line. So we're going to take a closer look at that. It's going to begin the same, going. Now it's the next bar we want to look at, okay? So we're going to take a closer look. So that line altogether goes. 3E and a 4E and a 1. That'll take a bit of getting used to. And those are all the main bits of Eye the Tiger for the intro. Alright, so as I was saying, the steps involved will be, if you haven't done power chords before, check up YouTube. There's loads of brilliant lessons up there, people teaching them. And if you do have them already, dive into it. Even if you haven't, the basics of them were explained right there. But there's so much more to watch out for. And as always, any questions, let me know. Enjoy the fight if you're going watching. Thanks for watching.